If you have questions, tell me. So we would go to Fibonacci's topic. Teacher, excuse me. Can you can you pull up the currency pairs of AUD to USD in the time frames of monthly and weekly? We would go by one and like review them from monthly to weekly, right? It doesn't make no difference. So ask your question, so I will answer you like this. I've practiced a bit, but I will send you so we'll see. From this high towards down, we want to draw our trend line. Under some conditions, the two highs that encounter each other, the trend line shouldn't pass the price, right? It shouldn't pass the price, yes. And if it has passed it, it means that your trend has changed. So, if it passes the price, it would be invalid, the trend line, right? You should wait for a pullback and see where it's gonna get a pullback. So we mostly draw the trend line. So if our price gets there, we should wait for a support or resistance, right? Yes, exactly. So now, when can I send you these practices? You share your screen, and then Mrs. Sharifi also shares them, and I will correct them all. Right now, I will get out of the share mode, and you share your system screen. I can draw the trend lines there. Yes. It has no problem. You share your system screen, please. I pulled up AUD to USD. The background should be black or white. Okay, share your screen right now. Okay. Yeah, I'll pull that up. Yeah, we have the screen. Yes, yes. This right now is in the time frame of monthly. In the monthly time frame, we want to see our market elasticity first. We identify the market elasticity like this from this point connected to this point, and then like this, and we see that our market elasticity is proceeding, it's downwards. This is all correct, but we have another trend line that is general. The general, we can say that our trend is downtrend. We should draw it from the top like this, and it will encounter its first pivot, right? Yes, exactly. And this is, we can draw it like this, right? There's a break there. Okay, I understand. It would be like this.
درست درست.
Yes, it's correct.
الان درست.
Right now is correct.
بله بله.
Yes, yes. So this is our preceding general trend. We don't want this now. Clear this. Don't clear it for a minute. If you've paid attention, there's two highs in your trend line's walls in the bottom. The lower high. The floor's high. Yeah, on its parallel, it would be kind of in the middle. You see two parallel highs that has touched your trend line. It shows that you have drawn your trend line correctly and that your maximum increase that makes it falls rapidly is this trend line. So you have to pay attention to these. It's exactly like on the date of 1st of July 2015. You have two highs and the low. Go forward. 2015. Go up, go up. You mean this? Yes. Yes, correct. According to your parallel trend line, it has touched your parallel trend line. We don't count the first one and the second one. It's like it has touched it and go back up again. So it means that you have drawn your trend line correctly. About our parallel trend line that we copied on the bottom. These two pivots are exactly on this. That means the trend line is correct. Do a Fibonacci from the top high to the bottom high. Is it correct? Yes, yes. Find the 50% Fibonacci, draw a line on it, so look at the 50% Fibonacci. You have a pivot. You have two lows, and there's a pivot as a high. So I need to teach these lows and highs to you. I mean, we use Fibonacci to get confirmation from trend line. So this 50% Fibonacci, because it's a reverse kind of thing, resistant trend line would be done. So the 50% Fibonacci would be on the walls of the trend line. But you have 38% as well. The 38% is also on the walls of your trend line. Draw a line on the 38%. So, look at this 38. If the price wants to go up and it goes a little forward, because it's a monthly time frame, it would be the 38% would be on these walls. So it would be 2018. It would be a little more forward. Like for 1 centimeters, go forward. A little more forward. 38% Fibonacci would be on your trend line's walls. That wall is your trend line as well. No, it would be on the upper one. This one. So your main trend line or general trend line would be this. This is the middle one. And the general or
پس
main
اگه
one was
قاعده
that.
داشته باشه همین جایی که موستون هست
So where your
اینطوری
mouse is,
حالت قطع کردن فیبای 38 تون ایجاد شده.
it's like it's breaking your
قطع کرده.
38
دقیقاً
Fibonacci.
قیمت شما به همین محدودهای قیمتی میرسه و
Your
میشه قیمت
price gets to this zone and then falls rapidly. And that would be your trend line.
چرا اومدم اینو الان گفتم؟ چرا که
Why did I tell it
تایید
here? Because we're getting a confirmation.
بازم معامله الان فعلا باز نمیکنه.
We don't open trades yet. We're just analyzing. Actually, we can say that because this is our main trend line. It can be more powerful, right? Than the support and resistance that it wants to create. Yes. And the Fibonacci has confirmed this.
دوباره بخوایم از فیبوناچی متحدیه بگیریم.
So if you want to get a confirmation from Fibonacci, the numbers of my Fibonacci should be on my pivots. I've mentioned this before, that if your Fibonacci numbers don't be on your pivots, it means that you have had a wrong analysis. I'll teach you later about it. Right now it's just about the trend line. So this trend line that we have drawn is correct. Okay, so I erase this and I go to the weekly time frame. Okay. Right now in my weekly time frame, if we want to draw our trend line from the top, it would cause that our price break. So we do it from the bottom. No. Your price has broken so many times. I said don't fool yourself. You should do from the top to the bottom. We want to see its break. Okay. Draw a Fibonacci as well from the place that you've drawn your trend line. From here, yes. Where did my price pull back? It's nearly in the 38% Fibonacci. I've told you that when it gets near 38%, don't expect that this Fibonacci completely will get touched and then pulls back. Near the Fibonacci numbers, just close it. Because the Fibonacci also have errors. It has hit the 38 and it has come under the 23. Under 23 is the 11% Fibonacci. You should put the price. I will tell you later. Draw a parallel line in the low, the last low. And here, in the 7th of October 2017, we have a low. No. The low. Get it lower, I will tell you. Come down. Between the 23 and 0. A little lower. It will be nearly here. A little up, but it's okay. So your 11% Fibonacci would be between the 23% and 0. You have come a little too much. So it would be good here, right? A little more up. That's it. You mean between these two, right? Exactly. Yeah, almost that place. Why do I say that don't erase your trend line when it breaks? is because you will know the pullback will be until where. So you see that in the 11 Fibonacci would be close to your trend line. Your price, the candle that has started to fall down, the new candle also goes down. It wouldn't touch your trend line, the pullback. Why? Because you have a Fibonacci of 11% right now. So sometimes you expect that when you draw your trend line, the price would pull back and goes back up. Sometimes it would happen, but it may have failed and go back up. What was the reason? It's because of the 11% of Fibonacci, but you don't have it here right now. So in this blue line would be your 11% Fibonacci. I'll show you this. Mrs. Sharifi, you put the price in. The number would be 0.114. Let me see if it's correct. It would be 11.4. It's exactly we have drawn it. Mr. Sadeghi, please pull it up again so Mr. Sharifi would see. Activate your Fibonacci line. That's simple Fibonacci line. So we have to activate it and then see. Okay. See, why did I, without putting the Fibonacci numbers, I identified the Fibonacci line? This 11 Fibonacci and the 89% Fibonacci would be your lows. The date is between 11th of September and to 11th of November. Is the last fractal the last fractals, the last high at the bottom of the market, the last high that has been formed. Is it showing? No, the bottom of the market, your present market, the present price. You see the last high? Yes. Yes, it's this. If you look a little up, there would be a low there. Yes, there. Exactly. These lows are really powerful and really important. These lows, it would be 11% Fibonacci at the bottom, and at the top is 89% or 78. So it's between 78 and 89%. So if you have drawn your Fibonacci right, these two numbers should be in the lows. Yeah, they've been put right. Yes. And the reason that the pullback wouldn't reach the trend line is because you have the 11% pivot, and it's a really powerful pivot. So it would go down a little bit from the bottom, it would form a high, and then it would go up. But then there should be a thing, but I'm going forward a little too fast. So you have understood this right now? Yes, but I just want to say this trend line that I've drawn is correct? Yes, it's correct. The other trend line that we can draw. Oh, you said you can draw it from the bottom to here. It's for the time that the trend line hadn't break yet. But when there's a break, you shouldn't fool yourself and put its high in another place. So we can say that if we draw a line from here to here, can we be a support for our price? I wanted to say it, but it's a little advanced. Then we'll talk about candlestick and highs, that it would be about some techniques, like the floor and cap trend, to get confirmation sooner from trend line or other techniques. I will teach you later. We can draw it, but we should have a confirmation from a technique that it should be formed. Excuse me, can I ask a question? Mr. Sadeghi has drawn the trend line and it has broken. And it wouldn't go down anymore because it has hit the 11% Fibonacci. Can I trade right now? Because the trend line has broken and I know that it wouldn't go down anymore. Can I open buying orders? No. It's because you're in its weekly time frame. If you consider it in the weekly time frame, your trend is downtrend because your minor trend line is going down, but your main trend line is a little going up. So you don't have a full confirmation. The reason that I say that you cannot buy right now is because your weekly is downtrend and your trend line has broken, but it hadn't give us a full confirmation to buy. And according to that pattern of the lows and highs, it hadn't give us a confirmation yet. So why would you buy? According to your trend line, it would be wrong. According to a trend line, you would buy, and then your price goes down and it would be negative. And your account would be in risk. And the time it would be failing, it would go back up. The only time that you're successful in this market is that you get the exact point of the market. But you're seeing it in the weekly. You don't know what's going to happen. So if I put the time frame lower and see what should I do and what trade should I do. The line that I've drawn for Fibonacci, how is it? It's correct. And the reason is because the last high that has touched the trend line has gone up. You have connected the last high to the next, and your last one is that when your mouse is, and it's gone up. So if we want to connect this to this, the first floor would be this. Yes. When it comes from here, this would be the first, and that's gone up. Exactly. We have a technique that I have called it Unifix code. According to this technique, sooner than trend line, sooner than Fibonacci, sooner than Elliott, harmonic, anything that you would think of, you would understand and figure out that your trend from downtrend has become the uptrend. It has become an upwards or downwards continuous trend. So the topic is that you're explaining that I draw the last trend line and get the bottom of the floor. You can find out the reasons of the break sooner before it makes you make a mistake. So if we go forward a little, right now I've taught you trend line, and according to this confirmation I have taught you Fibonacci, and according to its confirmation I will teach you pivots. But I have passed the Fibonacci just so you know what's going on. We can't connect this floor from this one. do it, and then I will tell you the reason. From here, no, from the last one. From here. Or this one. No. On the side of it. It's okay. I have connected this to this. Because there's a pivot in the way, we can get it. What's the reason that we can't consider it? You can draw it like this. Have it. But if you wanted to touch the bottom wall, the possibility is really low. And it's about the next technique. And it doesn't have anything to do with this. You have to check your first high, and then when it has performed or failed or anything else, you should go to the next. Again, we factorize. So when our price moves in a way, we draw its trend line to see what reaction it gives us. So let me teach you this one instead of Fibonacci, so you won't be confused in your trend line topic. I will teach you this technique that it would complete your trend line topic. Teacher, I've noticed that with this trend line, we have triangle patterns like this. There's a triangle in this pattern, and has broken this and gone out. It's really common. So in the future, can you explain these patterns? I will teach you all this in a technical way. So, going to the trend line, like a little lower, like daily time frame. If we want to draw its trend line, it would be like this. Pay attention here. You want to open orders here, so pay attention. Right now, this has broken a trend line here. Correct. And then look, where you don't have a new trend line means it has broken. It has broken. You've confused this, that you don't have the new one. So the only thing that helps it is Fibonacci. Fibonacci from floor to cap. Do it. What, Mrs. Sharifi? Draw a line on your 61% Fibonacci. Where is your 61%? It's under the high. No. The high. It has passed the pivot. You have a large low here on 10th of October. Look at the high. Yes. It's exactly on the 61. So it means that you have Fibonacci is right. So if we get 50% Fibonacci as well, it would be on a pivot. So to see if my 50% is on a pivot as well, So yes, it is correct.
پس اینجا قیمت شما کمی
So
پایین‌تر
your
باید
price
بیاد و
should
بعد
get a
برگرده.
little lower
به
and
شرطی
then do a
که
pullback.
باز ما
So on
ضعیف‌تر
the
در بیاریم.
61, we have to be more in details. Teacher, in other time frames, this could be the candle, right? It hasn't formed yet. You don't have the right to decide. Oh, yes, it's true. So, if it finishes like this, it would be confirmation. A what? One of the confirmation that for our trend line, Fibonacci, and the pivot here. If it finishes like this.
به شرطی که کندل جدیدت با گپ بالا
Under condition that your candle forms with a large gap. Unless this, that wouldn't be like you think, and it would fall down rapidly. This state that you say would be formed under one condition, like morning star or evening star. It would be like that, kinda. That only will operate, that your new candle that is forming would get formed with an upside gap. If it doesn't, the price will go down rapidly. What? This means falling down. No, no. You can't decide for it right now. You should be professional in the candlestick topic. Mr. Sadeghi says it's increasing and you say it's decreasing. He has seen it in up signals and you have seen it in down signals. But I say it happens only under one condition, that a candle forms with upside gap. And as Mr. Sadeghi would say, it's an uptrend. Like here. The start of this would be here. Kinda. The price is here. If it also ends here, your price would fall down rapidly. See, this candle, if the body was a little higher, we could hope that the buying pressure would upwards. But if the selling pressure would downwards, we should wait for a confirmation. I won't go to that topic yet. But the Fibo that we put here, Fibonacci, the trend line that I could draw on the top, should I copy it that the market elasticity would be identified? Or is it enough? No. Because your trend line has broken, you keep your trend line. You don't have any parallels yet. You keep it so you would get the pullback. If you want to copy the parallel, it wouldn't be of any use because your trend line has broken. So you should wait for the pullback, so it would passes or it pulls back. Teacher, now the trend line that I can draw for this could be like this. Yes. And we could be like this as well, from this. Yes. Like this, right? No. It could be from this, right? No. You have a high that is nearly in the low. In this, in the A-like angle. Yeah. Draw it. This would be your second one. This line that you have drawn, Your second one is not correct.
نه اون آره
Yeah, that one.
خب زمانی
So,
که الان درسته زمانی که
right now is
خط
correct.
اولیه شما
So,
شکسته بشه
when your first trend line breaks,
خط دومه تو داری.
we should expect the angle of the second one.
بله
We should expect this one,
این روند
right?
روند نزول هم
And it would be a
بر
downtrend.
چه اساسی بر اساس
From according to what? According to Fibonacci.
کندلسی هست این هم میتونی بکشی
You can draw this one as well,
آره این هم میتونیم بکشیم
like this.
اگه فیبوناچی بالا
If you draw your Fibonacci of 38 from top to bottom, you see that it didn't have the power to break. It hasn't reached 38 yet. It's only 23. In the 23, it pulled back because it didn't have the power. So the elasticity is downwards. By the shapes that I've memorized, the elasticity is downwards. Mrs. Shari Fee. In high time frames, you could make a mistake. For this, we say to lower the time frames and then decide what to do. That's correct. In long-term time frames, because you've seen this in the weekly time frame, for the end of the week or like 2 weeks later, your trend is buying. But if it becomes a buying trend, from now you're in a negative state. To be in its positive state, do a long-term and medium-term trading, the 4 hours is good for you. You get the answer. I've got a question. We have some powerful pivots here. Do you think it will break, or should we wait and be in a lower note? This pivot right here. This one is so powerful and hasn't been touched for a long time and has a comeback. You need to learn these. It's soon now. According to your candlestick and the shape that I should teach you, know that your pivot is gonna break or not. So every part of the market, you should use a particular technique. Like the trend line wouldn't be in use for every part of the market, or candlestick. Like candlestick wouldn't work here. So I do pivots. You should be so professional when a pivot line would break or not. You should get it sooner. Like, if your pivot breaks and move in its way, when will you open an order? You would open an order in the middle of the thing, and your price would go back, and it would be and stress you, and you would close it, say that your first trade was correct. You should correct your mistake. So with the shapes I teach you, you would see how to know your pivot is going to break sooner. And it's about the candlestick and the shapes of the market. Thank you. But you have a buying trend here. So I erase this. If you let me, teacher, after the class, I would send you the practices I do of trendline. You can send anywhere. This has no difference. You can send it in the group chat so your Mrs. Sharifi would also see, and it would be like a correcting for Mrs. Sharifi as well. I'm always checking the group chats. I will answer you. So I will send you the practices. So it would
آقا
correct me,
ریپلی
and
بکنید ریپلای بکنید
if you reply
ریپلای بکنید
me,
من متوجه میشم حالا
I would
زیاد
notice.
متوجه میشم ولی حالا حالت
But
تایپ
don't just
وجود
message in the
نداره.
group chat.
خب خانم
So,
شریفی شما
Mrs.
سوالی دارید؟
Sharifi, do you have any questions? I don't have any questions.
اشکالی چیزی نداره اوکی همه
There,
چی
everything is okay. We can continue, and if I had any problems, I will send it in the group chat.
خب جناب
Yes, you disconnect.
بعد بزنید
You
رو
should
همون
click
چیزی همون
on
آیکونی
that
که زدین شیر شد
icon.
بعد بزنید رو هم
You should click on that one.
همون آیکونی که
No,
زدین
no.
شیر شد بعد بزنید رو هم
That sharing
بعد
icon,
دو تا
you should click
مربع
on that
براتون
one.
افتاده نه دو تا مربع رو هم افتاده
Yeah,
آره
right.
درسته
Okay.
بله دوباره شیرش کردیم دوباره استاپش
You shared it again. Stop it.
خب درست
Okay, it's right. So, right now, what's our topic? It hasn't showed for me yet. So, the topic for this part is the technique that from your highs and lows, you would know sooner when your trend line is gonna break, or has broken or not, your trend has failed, or it's become uptrend, and from where you will know if it's uptrend, is it continuous or not, or is it downwards and it would continue downwards. And you will get this by Fibonacci and trend line. If you want to do it according to Fibonacci or trend line, you lose a part of the market. I'm sorry. Is it a recording right now? Yes, it's recording. And then you should learn some techniques so you would see your trend is uptrend or downtrend sooner. Like, how do you know that your trend is on the cap or on the floor? You see that pound's price is on the floor, and it's failing, and it would change the trend. So the trend has changed here. It's a technique that is about the highs, and that gets used in the trend line in Fibonacci. Look here. Look here. Whenever the uptrend, let me pull it from the beginning. This trend is uptrend, and it has fallen downwards. Maybe you say with yourself that it will come back up, and it would be like an Elliott wave, or do a zigzag, or anything else. Or you draw this part's trend line. Do anything else? No. So whenever in your uptrend, the highs change places with each other, like the next high from the center that has been formed, the next high forms lower than the last one, it would give you a warning, not a confirmation. It would give you a warning that your trend from an uptrend has become the downtrend. It's just a warning. You shouldn't decide by it. It just give you a warning. So whenever at the bottom of the wave, the high that has been formed here, then the last high has finished or ended lower, means that it's a confirmation. It's a confirmation that your uptrend is completely ended, and now it's a downtrend. Until these central highs change places with each other, you cannot say that your trend has become downtrend. You can consider these central. I say the central highs. I mark them now. These highs? Yes. These were on a corrective wave. They're not important. Consider that as one. Now, at the bottom, it's a confirmation. So it means that you ought to have it. I consider these two. Look here, in this part, the second high has finished lower than its first one. When you look at it, you see that the central highs are lower than each other. This trend, it shows that this trend is still downwards until the highs change places with each other. Look here, it has changed. Let me draw this here. Here, this high is kind of balanced with this one. Okay? It shouldn't go high like this. It shouldn't go higher than its balance. It's kind of balanced here. And this high has finished higher than this one. It's a confirmation that your downtrend has become an uptrend. It's still uptrend until your highs change places again. Look, the top high, like this high or this high, is finished lower than this. Like sometimes you get fooled. Sometimes the price gets to this zone, or sometimes it would break your trend line. So you see that your trend line has broken, and it is an uptrend now. But I tell you this right now, it has gave you a warning. It didn't give you confirmation though. So if you get a warning, be aware and wait for your confirmation. Just when it gave you the confirmation, your trend has become but you make a mistake here because you have saw the warning, but you don't even know this. You see your trend line has broken and your trend is uptrend. It has suddenly come back inside the trend line because you didn't wait for the confirmation. So you start having losses. You saw the trend line and the 23% Fibonacci has broken, but why did it happen? Now you see here that you don't have a trend line. It's because of this. Because the trend line that you drew was this. And hasn't broke the last one. It isn't broken. And I can draw this like this. The last one was like this and it's broken. So I fool myself again and put it here. So I can't draw it like this. So how do I get help? From this technique that I told you. How do I know that your trend is failing? From this technique. Now, if you draw its Fibonacci as well, we imagine that we don't have this part. Part that gave us confirmation is finished. From here on, we don't have it. If I open a buying order in this zone, I put my stop loss easily here. If you've paid attention, I put my stop losses some particular places. Why?
من ببینم این پیوت
And I see that this pivot has opened,
از این
so my price is a lot lower than this.
بعد بخواد برگشتم
If it wants to do a pullback, if it tries really hard, it would be until
این
here.
قوله
So this high
میشه پایین‌تر از این قوله
would be lower than this one,
درسته
right?
تاییدیش هم میشه اینجا دیگه
The
این
confirmation would be here, right?
دیگه تاییدیش
They're all lower than each other.
میشه تو چی دوباره نزول روند
So the
اینجا
trend is downtrend again. You shouldn't be tricked right here that your trend is uptrend. In the end, it would call your account.
پایه‌ها خیلی
So the bases are really important.
و زمانی که من
So
دقیقاً بهتون میگم این قیمت من
I'm telling you right now,
رو باز بکنه
if the price opens here,
بیش از حد اومده
it means that my price has gone lower more than it should.
بالا
So if you want to pull itself back up, it would be until here if it really tries to.
ببخشید این پایه که از این پایه قله پایین‌تر میشه
But the high is lower than this one.
اینجا هم که این قله من گفتم اومده مثلا اینجا دیگه
And I told you that the highs come here. So this should be lower than this.
پایین‌تر از این اینا پایین‌تر از این تاییدیه دوباره سیگنال رو میده
So it's a confirmation that you have a down signal.
ولی خب شما باید توجه
But you
داشته
should be
باشید
aware
زمانی خط ترند
that
میگیره
when your trend line forms, here a high also forms.
باید ببینید تاکید می‌کنم
And I insist that it should,
قله ایجاد بشه
that there's a high should be formed.
ترندش شکل بگیره.
So your trend line would be created. See how I'm
آینده بازار
analyzing the future of the market? And the trend lines would be in the same angle.
دقیق‌ترش کنم
If I want to go into details,
بازار رو دارم
as I'm analyzing the future of the market, some errors may be found.
میشه
It would be like this.
دیوار خط ترندم
This was my trend line's wall, and this is its touch. So your market has a potential to fall until here.
به شرطی که
But under the condition that, look, you're trading at the end of the night, and your candle would be formed
تموم بشه با خیال
like this.
این میشه
So when it gets formed, you should easily see it,
زمان زیاد
and it would be the candlestick topic. And you have time right now. So in these 2 or 3 hours, you shouldn't do anything. You should wait and ambush
سیگنال خوب وارد بشه
and
یا کندل
enter with a good signal.
یا تموم
Either your candle would finish here, so your new trend line would be this, or you should have mastered your candlestick topic.
موازی
Would be this, that would be parallel to this line.
اینجا و اینجا
Excuse me, teacher.
جان
Yeah, I've got your voice. Excuse me. Because no pivots has been formed, we shouldn't do anything until the candle's time finishes and the next candle would be formed and the pivot would be formed. When the pivot got formed, we draw our trend line and it would be clear that our trend is a little higher than the floor. So it would be still uptrend. But if it breaks and it goes back down, it would be our last floor. For some reasons, it will break. Because in this way, I don't have a pivot.
این محدود من پیوت ندارم
Until this zone, I don't have a pivot.
هست که یه پایه
And a break will here, so the base would be created there. A base should be created here. That 100%,
این دیدم باید
I say should. Some people say we don't have a 100% here. But sometimes in the market, according to our experience, we say it should get formed here, or else it wouldn't be right. Like a candle or a high would get formed that creates your trend line and creates your Fibonacci numbers. So the bases it gives you would be created. This base of this central base would be higher, and this one from this one. So when our trend is downtrend and it falls dramatically from here, and my price would get opened from the central base. So if my central base opens, we easily go and sell. Like the thing that happened to one of our guys. The base is lower than this one, but it hasn't finished yet. This is lower than this, and this is lower than this. This is lower, and this is also lower. They're all lower than each other. I had a buy here, but I exited. I closed some trades that got me losses. Okay? Because I knew that my price is going down. And it's even a down signal. And we come back to buy, but we are on a selling position. The reason is the basis. You understood this? Teacher, we can say that on the floors or on the caps. If we want to say like one after another would be placed on the floor or cap, it would be an uptrend. Our pivot, as soon as gets lower than the last cap, we wait that its floor also gets lower. So it gives us a confirmation that our trend is changing and it's going downwards. Yes. And we change the strategies and we switch from buy to selling. Let me close these trades. Look here, the thing that you said, look how important this thing is. If you pay enough attention to this, whole market in the long term and medium term would be in your hands. You wouldn't even have to do any analysis. No Fibonacci, no trend lines, no candlesticks. But for the long term, it's good. And the thing about it, that it should be 4 hours and up. You should not come lower than 4 hours. Because it would confuse you and make you make mistakes. So it's your own technique. Yes, it's my own technique that I've called it Unifex code. And it's very easy. Sooner than any technique that you can think of, you can analyze your trends. So many people think it's an Elliott wave. You see that there's a wave 1 and then the second wave, and if something happens it would be like this and it would go up. But if it's an Elliott wave, it wouldn't be like this. You're getting it sooner than Elliott wave. Even the Elliott wave hasn't been formed yet. You would understand it sooner than its confirmation. How do I know? From one high that I get a warning from this high, this high. This high would be this. It has formed higher than this one. The Elliott wave hasn't been formed yet. Let me zoom it so you can see. Look, this has ended higher than this one. I don't have this part of market. I have a warning here, and it may go back up again. I wait. Here I see that this high has formed higher than this one. I easily go on the buying order, and I don't touch the long-term time frame. Even here, when it fell down, it is your buy order. And the stop loss that you put it in the place that your trades are so safe that it wouldn't get risky. You can have a lot of profit from it. We say, until the bases of the candles don't change places with each other, I don't have the right to do this. I have profited 493 pips in the long term. In the short term, I shouldn't do this. Because like in here, you get a buy from here or here, and it goes up and then it goes down a little. You would do it according to the short-term trades and it would stress you and it would be a disaster. You understood this completely, right? Teacher, I think that if a trend change happens from downwards to upwards with a higher floor, I understood this. This technique you talked about, it wasn't really clear. About what? About the confirmation? Yes, yes. It's about the confirmation. When my trend is downtrend. When my trend is downtrend. Whenever I see that the new highs that are forming are higher than the last high, it's a warning. So when I have a warning, I shouldn't trade. So when its lower high is higher than the last high, it's a confirmation that my downtrend has ended and it's gone up. So here, before it gives us a confirmation, in this zone, there was a warning. I got warned that 80 to 90% your trend has failed. I wait for 3 or 4 hours, even one day. I wait and see if it gets confirmed or not. If it gets confirmed, with an ease of mind, I enter a safe trade or deal. Okay? So if you draw your trend line, like here, draw your trend line. Draw the trend line. Where did you start trading? Here. I insist on the long-term trade and its analysis, like long-term and medium-term, not short-term. You enter buying here, so don't touch it until your highs have changed places. It's true, it has gone down. It's on your trade. You have put your stop loss here. Teacher, excuse me. At the bottom, we had a confirmation. The top floor and the top cap, we started trading. And we got a confirmation from the bottom. So if the trend line would break, you will feel that it's in danger. But when it has broken this, from where we should know that it wouldn't come back? Downwards or upwards? No. Downwards. How should we know that it wouldn't be supported and would go down? Aren't these the highs? The time we can say this is that this passes here. And if we come here and we imagine that we have got a buying order and we don't close it at the top. What if this floor passes this floor as well? We still have a loss. So if we have this high here, these are lows. They're not highs. Do we have a high in this side that has ended lower than this one and gave us confirmation? We don't have it. Your high is here. It has ended higher. You don't see any highs. This is a low. This is not important. You don't see a high that is lower than this one. It's confirmation. It has gave you a warning here that this high has finished lower than this one. But has it give you a confirmation yet? No high has formed lower than this one. So it has give you a warning, but you have opened an order. And your legal stop loss should be here. And that would be stop loss about the candlestick and else. We have this here. So if the loss you're about to have were about 23 pips, so it wouldn't be a lot. If you pay attention to what I'm telling you from the beginning, you wouldn't have a lot of pips from the stop loss. But you have 130 pips in the profit, and it has gone down, and now it's 50-50. And 2 pips negative. So it's going up and up. If it gives us a confirmation, offset it, either with a little profit or with little loss. But you know that what your market is. Teacher, can we do this? The floor that gave us a confirmation after we did a buy. Whenever our trend line, the red one, when it cuts it, we close it and see our price goes down until where. So when we get a confirmation for a start, we start buying. No, this is like a short-term trade, not even like a medium term. Between medium term and short term, you should close it on Fibonacci. So if it cuts your trend line, you have lost a pip again. You should do it according to Fibonacci. Please explain it in the next session. How much was your price when it pulled back? 61, right? 11. No, it's 61. You have insert here. You have insert here. So you should exit sooner than 61. You should combine them. Your question was a good question, but it wasn't about this topic. So why do I lose these pips? I see that my trend line has broken, so I exit. No, I say don't wait until your trend line breaks. Exit sooner. The 61 Fibonacci. Exactly the highest price you could get. You enter it on the floor and it is the deal's roof. So you confirm this, that whenever I do a buying order in the long term, you can benefit from this deal. Don't participate in the dramatic downfalls and get more profit. Yes, exactly. You have 3 types of trades. You should consider what type of trade you want to do, long term, medium term, or short term. And you should stick to the rules. If I do short term, I should exit the early offsets. If I do medium term, I should, according to my Fibonacci numbers, I should offset it. If I do long term, in the period of time, like in the patterns of like the confirmation of my highs and else, I should stick to it. If I do long term trade, I put my stop loss below it and don't do anything with it anymore. If it wants to like 100 pips go up, comes down again, and like 200 pips go up again. My trade is long term. I don't care about the minor things. Teacher, excuse me. Is this the end of the market? Yes, it's the end. This high is higher than this high, and the bottom high is higher than this one. It has started to fall from here. Like these highs on the cap are forming. Yes. The first high has formed, the second one has formed, and has formed lower than this, and I want to sell it. I open a selling order. Now, how much I should profit from it, it's about the putting take profit. I don't have your voice. I'm sorry. Now you have it. The thing that how much should I profit and how long should I leave my order open, it's about Fibonacci and take profit. And you get that from Fibonacci. That how much profit should I close my trade. You should learn this and then we go to the Fibonacci. But it all works. Like we are going level by level, so you wouldn't confuse it. Learn these formulas, and then you should know that where to put stop loss, where to put take profit, and other things. Right now, you're just learning the techniques. Exactly, teacher. You've understood, Mrs. Sharifi? If you haven't understood yet, ask. It's just that I'm moving a little further. Okay, so, teacher, I will do a summary of your speech. So, we drew a downtrend as soon as the higher cap, sooner than its last cap that has a downtrend and its confirmation to a higher floor, we can have a confirmation and do the buying order. And when you want to do a buying order, you have to be able to say this. No, I said it generally, that we can open a buying order. Don't open a buying order on the high. You should wait until it falls down and then do it. Because if you do it, it would get a negative. And I insist that you should enter in a precise point. It's like so many people, the ones who don't know what the market even is and work it, say that his dummy don't know where his entering point is. I usually don't do short-term trades. Most of my trades are long-term. So why? I won't even care about the minor things. He wants to give me like 5,000, 6,000 of profit to me or not. Why would I close it? Because target is $10,000. The one who talk like that shows that don't even know anything about this market. He wants to just close it on the profit. Like if I've closed it, where should I enter again? And if it wants to fall again, it would lessen my profit. But my target is another thing. If I open it here and close it here, I'm making a lot of risk. So why do some guys lose their profit? It's because they just are giving and taking. They close it and then again enter it. So why would you do that? You have opened it. If it wants to fall, it would lessen your profit or not your original money. I do a selling here, I close this, and on the same exact spot, I do a selling here. But you have opened on higher. The more the price of the market gets further from your deal, it's in your benefit. Excuse me, I have a question. You do your long-term trades in H4? No, in the daily. No, 4 hours and daily. And my medium-term trades are in 1 day. My long terms are like in 2 or 3 days. The short-term trades are like 4 hours. The short term, I mean, like in 1 hour or half an hour. It means that it's between 2 4-hour candles, and so it's 8 hours. I will teach you these. If we go a little further, because you have experience and you've heard this from me, you would be good. You just have to practice these and completely learn it. Because sometimes it makes a difference. But here, it's a little higher than this. And this one is higher than this one. So it's completely uptrend. Like in this trend, it has finished a few millimeters higher than this one. And here at the bottom, it has finished higher than this. So the trend is uptrend. So some things may confuse you. So you have to be aware. Like
اینکه مثلا چند میل بالاتر
this that is a few millimeters higher should get a confirmation from its pivot.
من همه موارد رو باید ترکیبش کنه.
You should combine all of them.
از دوباره از این مورد
Like from this, I want to get a confirmation from my pivot.
خیلی قویه.
My pivot is really powerful. So if it gone up a little, it's not important.
معقولی باشه. یعنی
So it should be at a reasonable shape that this has passed this high here. So this may confuse you a little. It has ended a few millimeters higher, and this has ended higher than this one. Before it's forming, imagine we don't have, isn't the bottom high ended higher than this one, right? I wait to see that if this ends higher than this one. It hasn't. So I go in a buying order. I wait until my high gets formed higher than this one. Even this little bit can confuse you. To correct this mistake, to see if it really operates or not, if the pivot is weak, it would break it and go up. But if it's powerful, that is really powerful, it would fail it. You should always get confirmations. All this analysis, I always name these confirmations. Did you understand it? Yes. Okay, rewatch this video. So I won't continue from here. You have to learn this, then I will go further. Practice this. This is enough for this class. Practice these, and if you didn't have any errors, we can go to the Fibonacci topic. So Fibonacci, we can get confirmation from these two techniques that I've told you. And about Fibonacci, what it does is it shows the pivots. Like Mrs. Sharifi asked, when I open an order, how much should I leave it open? You should do it according to Fibonacci. That if I do a buy in order here, according to the Fibonacci numbers, I offset it here. And I have $150 of profit. So you see that getting confirmation from trendline and this other thing, I combine it with Fibonacci. According to Fibonacci, it finishes and you know where to put stop loss and take profit, and I get a confirmation from pivots. Learn the pivots, so where to do trade, I want to get confirmation. Would it operate a buying here for me or not? I get a confirmation from candlestick. I see that my candlestick has an up signal, so I know that all my things, their confirmation is correct, and I do a good and safe buying trade. I'll do it the best trade in the week, because maybe even in 1 week you don't even do one trade, and in the last day the formulas all give you confirmation. The profit that you have on that day is the same as the whole week, because you have a confirmation from all your formulas. But if 3 of your techniques say that it's a downtrend and 3 of them say that it's an uptrend, it means that it's sideways, so I shouldn't do trades. Yeah, you would get to a level that when you see the market, you see that it's really easy. But when I was learning it, it was really hard. The ones that say we can't take profit from this market, like 5% or 10%, they don't even know what market is. They don't even know these techniques. The teaching that they got was from the book, and they were just in the work, but they didn't know these formulas. No. You will get to that point. I just say that stick to your rules. Don't say that, oh, it's nothing. I say I do a heavy trade. This little thing would trouble you and makes you lose a lot. And then you say, oh, what have I done? Beg to God and things like that, but they can't do anything for you. And you will have a loss at the end. When you experience it once, you would stick to the rules. So stick to the rules from the beginning. Don't get used to not sticking to the rules. If you get used to the greed, you can't get out of it. Like me. I got so many heavy profits, I couldn't make do with like $500. It would be like cents for me. I do heavy profits. Like right now, if it is $3,000 or $4,000, I wouldn't even make a deal. Like real like this. So in the market psychology, we would get to it. That you wouldn't be scared of anything. Is there any questions? I would send you this video and message your questions in your group chat. Sure, excuse me. For the practice, we can analyze the trends in other markets, analyze their shapes and like compare them and define how they are. Higher cap, higher floor. Exactly. So you do this and send it to me. So if you have any errors, I would correct you. We should draw its trend line as well, right? Yes, yes. So we should draw the trend line to compare that. You should get a confirmation. When you don't have a trend line, you should use this formula. And your trend line should be by the rules. And you would get confirmation from this. I said level by level. What's their confirmation? The basis. When you got the basis, you should get confirmation from the Fibonacci. When your Fibonacci gives you the signal, you should get a confirmation from the pivot. You should confirm that will it break or not? Is it powerful or not? You should get a confirmation from candlestick now. And then when you do them, you combine them and see that this trend line has signaled this kind of trend. And you do a trade. But the first technique that we learned was trend line. Yeah, trend line could be on the basis of the highs. Yeah, this technique alone will give you what your long-term trend would be. Like yeah, if you do a really low lot, you still open an order. And at the end, it will give you profit. And the trend line has a really low risk that even if your quantity is low, it would be margin called. You will be successful at the end. I've read a book about the greatest people in exchange market. And one of them said that these people are the ones who say that they buy on the floor and sell on the cap. They just do it like this, just like you said. They're just looking for the floor of the price and do a buying trade, and on the cap do the most profit. So if you know these techniques, you will really get farther from the market. The market is in your hands then.